Today I'm going to be doing a comparison between the Velotric Discover One e-bike and the Ride1Up Limited. These are both great brands. I've been really pleased with both of these e-bikes. They've held up great and I've enjoyed them both. But in this video I wanted to put them more head to head to see which one might be better suited for you. And also, I'll put a link in the description below because I've done full reviews on both of these e-bikes where you can watch and learn more about each one specifically on their own if you're interested. And I'll also add the link to the bike themselves so you can check them out for yourself. And something to let you know right off the bat is that these accessories like this phone holder and this mirror and this seat are all things I added separately. They don't come with the original e-bike. And I wanted to let you know that when I first got this Discover One e-bike, it was their old version, which means that their new version doesn't come with a rear rack anymore. And their new version actually comes with hydraulic brakes instead of mechanical brakes. So this e-bike itself actually has mechanical brakes, which I'm not a huge fan of, but their new version comes with hydraulic disc brakes, which is really nice. And when it comes to the Ride1Up Limited, I have their new version. Their old version came with a cadence sensor and their new version comes with a torque sensor. So I just wanted to point a few of those things out to let you know that I have the old version of the Discover One, but I have the new version of the Ride1Up Limited. That way you just know that ahead of time going into it. Now that that's out of the way, I wanted to move on to price. And starting with the Velotric Discover One, it comes in at the time of this recording at $1,250, and the Ride1Up Limited comes in at around $1,500. So it's about a $250 difference between these two e-bikes. And you are gonna see a little bit more premium quality out of this one because of that price difference actually. Now, moving on to the tires, both of these have road tires, which I feel like work great. This one has this gum rim kind of coating around the outside, which I think looks nice. It's more stylish actually, but they both hold up great. And also one difference between this Velotric Discover One is it actually has front and rear fenders on it. Compared to this one, it doesn't. And I actually appreciate fenders. It just helps me stay cleaner when I'm riding the bike, and also it keeps the bike cleaner as well. When it comes to the color scheme, they look very similar actually, and I think the colors look great on both of these e-bikes. And they also both come in step-through versions or a step-over version like this. To me personally, I would go with the step-through one just because it feels easier to get through and get on and off the e-bike. With being a step-over frame, it just feels like this is a taller setup and a little more lifted up. So maybe if you're a bigger person, you might enjoy a step-over frame, but for just functionality and getting on and off, I would choose to get both of these e-bikes in a step-through frame. Both of these e-bikes have front suspension, but for whatever reason, when you're actually taking these out for a ride, I feel like the Ride1Up Limited has a much smoother absorption when it comes to going over top of bumps that you're gonna feel in the handlebars, versus this one feels a little more rattly and it just doesn't feel quite as premium as this one does. However, the seat that originally comes with this is very hard and very firm. That's why I actually swapped it out with a different seat versus the Discover One. I just kept the seat that was on it because it was actually really comfortable. Both of these e-bikes have a front headlight, which is great for riding at nighttime, but the Discover One actually has a rear taillight that's integrated into the bike, which is really nice, versus the Ride1Up Limited doesn't have the rear taillight. When we're taking a look at both of the handlebars, the Discover One kind of curve towards you and it almost puts you in an upright posture. So I feel like the ergonomics feel a little more comfortable on the Discover One, versus the Ride1Up Limited is a little more forward on the handlebar position. So it puts you in a more athletic stance, but they both have like paddles that come out on the palm of your hand, which feel really comfortable to ride. The Ride1Up has an 8-speed trigger shifter, which I enjoy a lot more than the Ride1Up 7-speed Shimano shifter. I feel like this is a lot better quality, but to be honest with you, when I'm riding an e-bike, I actually don't shift that much. I usually keep it in like gear 7 or 8, and I just let the e-bike do all the work instead of me shifting through gears. So that's something to point out, is I actually don't use shifters that much when I'm actually riding, but when you do go to shift, you're gonna notice that it's a lot better quality shifting on one of these trigger shifters. When it comes to the brakes on both of these bikes, the new version of the Discover One has hydraulic brakes, so that's the same thing as the Ride1Up. So the braking system should be comparable for both the new models. Both of these e-bikes have thumb throttles, but on this e-bike it's on the left-hand side versus the Velotric one, it's on the right-hand side. And also with the Ride1Up one, you can use the throttle in whatever pedal assist level you're in. You can use it and it will get you up to 20 miles an hour, which is really nice. Whereas the Velotric thumb throttle, when you use it, it only goes as fast as whatever pedal assist level you're in. So if you're in level 1, it's only gonna go like 7 to 10 miles an hour because you're in pedal assist level 1. You have to turn it all the way to pedal assist level 5 to be able to use the full power of the throttle. And that might be better for like if you're a beginner e-bike rider and you don't want all that torque in any of the pedal assist levels. But what I notice is it's a lot easier when you have all the throttle power and no matter what level of pedal assist you're in, because sometimes when I roll up to a stop sign, I'm in pedal assist level 1, but I want to get across the intersection. I just want to hit the throttle and cruise right across. I don't want to spend time clicking up into my pedal assist level to go higher and go faster. So I actually prefer when the throttle works at its full max no matter what pedal assist level you're in. Another big difference between these two e-bikes is the Ride1Up Limited has a torque sensor compared to the Velotric has a cadence sensor, and a lot of people like torque sensors better. They feel like a more natural ride because the torque sensor engages the more energy you put into the pedals, the faster the e-bike is going to go, versus the Velotric, no matter how fast you're pedaling, it's gonna give you amount of power based on what pedal assist level you're in. So no matter if you're pedaling really hard or really softly, it's gonna go to its set speed at whatever pedal assist level you're in. And this one, if you pedal harder, the e-bike is gonna go a lot faster. If you pedal softly, the e-bike is gonna go a lot slower. So this is more adaptive. It feels like a more natural ride, but really it depends on how you like to ride. If you like to not exert any energy and you just like to slowly meander around, but you still want your e-bike to go really fast, then a cadence sensor would be great for you because you don't have to exert a lot of energy and you can still go at top speeds. But this one, if you wanna go at its top speed, you have to exert more energy to kick in the motor to assist you to go faster. Speaking of speeds, the Ride1Up goes up to 28 miles an hour, whereas the Velotric Discover 1 only goes to 20 miles an hour out of the package, but you can actually unlock the speed to go up to 25 miles an hour, which is still slightly slower than the Ride1Up Limited. I think the Velotric has a slightly better battery life, and they actually advertise that you can get up to 65 miles of range out of one charge, versus this e-bike only gets up to 50 miles in one charge. So the range is a little bit better on the Velotric Discover 1 than the Ride1Up Limited. The screen on the Velotric looks a little bit easier to read for me, but it is nice that the screen is off to the left-hand side on the Ride1Up, because if you want to add accessories like this phone holder, it can get crowded when everything's all bunched in the center here, versus this screen is off to the left-hand side. So now if I put a phone mount on here, it wouldn't feel cluttered and I could have my phone sitting directly in the center of the e-bike. Something else that I forgot to mention is that the Ride1Up Limited e-bike has a 750 watt rear hub motor, whereas the Velotric Discover 1 only has a 500 watt motor, so you're gonna get more power out of the Ride1Up. Now when it comes to my personal opinion, when I take both of these e-bikes out and ride them, I feel like the Ride1Up Limited feels a lot more premium than the Velotric Discover 1 for whatever reason. I don't know if it's the parts they use or if it's the torque sensor and the hydraulic brakes and all those things. It feels like just a much smoother ride when I'm taking it out. It handles really nicely, versus the Velotric to me feels a little bit clunkier. Even though it's not clunky, it's still a great e-bike. It just doesn't feel quite as the same quality as this one. But I also need to remember that I got this when it was first released and it doesn't have the upgraded features like hydraulic brakes and stuff. But to me, I feel like this is a winner in my book if I was going to take either of these two out for a ride. But you do have to remember this one is more expensive. It's $250 more expensive than this. So maybe if Velotric in the future launches a new bike and adds an extra $250 worth of value to it, then it probably would be a very comparable between the two e-bikes. So that's just something I want to point out, is the price kind of makes up the difference between the premium of the quality of the e-bike. So those are my thoughts on it. I enjoy both of them. I've put a ton of miles on both of these e-bikes. I feel like they're a very comfortable ride. I've been happy with both. This was the first e-bike I started out with and I took it everywhere. It's been great. This one I got later after and it's still been holding up good. So I feel like you'll be pleased with either of these two e-bikes, but that's my comparison between them. Let me know which one you prefer in the comment section below. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked it, please subscribe so you can catch more content like this, and catch you on another one. See ya.